Hi, welcome to Basic Tools to Use in Photoshop, and welcome to another new video cast where I'll be training you or be telling you about the basic equipment and instruments or required equipment to use to start up as a photographer or to continue in your photography career. So first, I will introduce you to some basic camera equipment. As for me, I'm a Nikon shooter, so all my collections of cameras are what Nikon cameras. Canon is also a good product, but if you have invested in Canon, there's no point going into Nikon except if you just want to have a change of total products. But as a photographer, I started my career with Nikon, and I've stuck with Nikon ever since. So there are two basic there are so many kinds of Nikon cameras. We have mirrorless Nikon cameras, and we have DSLR Nikon cameras. But largely, for the sake of this course, we'll be talking about DSLR Nikon cameras, which means digital single reflex lens. DSL lens reflex. Digital single lens reflex cameras. So there are two different basic types of DSLR cameras. We have some that we call the full frame, and we have some that we call the cross type cameras. And how do you differentiate between the full frame and the cross type cameras when you see one? Apart from the singular fact that sometimes they are a little bit bigger and a little bit have more functionality as according to the buttons on them. Also, when you look at a Nikon full frame camera, you see at the left bottom side here is called FX. That means it's a full frame camera. But if it is a cross type camera, it will be written as DX, or nothing will be written there at all. So this is a Nikon D3200, while this is a Nikon D700, and we have different kind of lenses. We have zoom lens, we have fisheye lens, we have telephoto lens, we have wide angle lens, we have prime lenses, and this is an example of a prime lens, a wide angle lens. This is 14 to 105, 2.8 aperture. Then this particular lens on this camera right now is a prime lens, is a 50 mm prime lens, while the one on this other camera here, is an 85 mm prime lens. So 85 mm prime lens is this one on this camera here. Then the basic equipment to use in studio, please, I need a reflector. The basic equipment to use in the studio, if you have the money, I use a Godox. Is it about? Okay, I'll pick it up. I use a Godox 300 wax, and I use two of these actually. This is one, and this is another one. So this is called an octabox. It's a soft box. Largely, it's called an octabox, and this is one light, and this is another one. So if you can buy lower quality, or by lower quality I mean lower power. There's 200 wax, but this one is 300 wax, just to give me more availability of light when I want to shoot. And of course, there's one called a reflector. All right, this is a reflector. What is the function of a reflector in the studio? Largely is all about bouncing light or cutting light, or bouncing a particular shade of light as you want at a time. Alright, so this is a reflector. This is the gold part of the reflector, and this is the white part of the reflector. Then, because this is a 4 or 5-in-1 reflector, we also have some other sides to it. When you unzip it, you see this side is black. The black is used to cut light. Then this one is transparent white. It's used to reduce the intensity of light, while this one is a silver light. So you just want to bounce a silver kind of light or more intense light, while the white one bounces normal light. So that's the function of a reflector. Then these are the basic small equipment you can use in the studio, and of course you need a flash, a speed light. This one is an Oolong SP690 speed light, which uses battery. There are so many other speed lights producing companies out there. You have Yongnuo, we have Oolong, we have Mickey, as well as any. So many of them out there. You can easily buy any speed light just go out with specification, depending on what your pocket is saying, and just get a speed light. So during the course of this class, these are the basic equipment I'll be using to shoot, and we'll be editing their pictures one after the other. And but most often than not, I usually use my full frame D700 and either of my prime lenses, either the 50mm or my 85mm. So you might not have a full frame camera, but whatever my full frame camera would do, your cross-type should be able to do that, apart from just some little differences. But for now, any camera you have would do the job of practicing. So I'll be using either this camera most often than not, or then I'll just be switching the lens or the lenses as case might be over time. So the next class will just be about some practicals and basic introduction to camera gears, and I will use them. See you in the next class.